Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the ultimate 2026 driveway dilemma. We are putting two totally different automotive philosophies head-to-head. In one corner, we've got the highly popular petrol-powered Hyundai Elantra, and in the other, the high-performance, fully electric BYD Seal. Let's break down the data and see which approach actually makes more sense for you. So, would you still buy a petrol sedan in 2026, or has the electric future already arrived for your daily commute? It's a question millions of buyers are wrestling with right now. You see, we're no longer just comparing two similar cars in the same category. We're comparing entirely different ecosystems of driving. Let's find out which one actually fits your lifestyle. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate trade-off. On one hand, you get the absolute, undeniable convenience of a petrol car. 5 minutes at a pump and boom, you're back on the road. On the other hand, you have the massive potential of an EV. You plug in at home, wake up full, and potentially save thousands over the life of the car. It's time versus money in its purest form. Let's kick things off with purchase price and initial value. Essentially, what you actually get for your money. What you pay up front gets incredibly interesting because global markets treat these two vehicles very differently. Just look at this breakdown. In the US, the Elantra is a fantastic budget-friendly entry point at around $22,600. But move over to the UAE, and the Elantra Hybrid and BYD Seal overlap right in the premium segment. Meanwhile, down in Australia, the top-tier BYD Seal performance comes in highly competitive at around 62,000 Australian dollars. So your upfront cost heavily depends on your zip code. But what do you actually get at these price points? Well, the Elantra gives you highly practical, familiar comfort. You've got your traditional physical buttons, Apple CarPlay, and the proven Hyundai SmartSense safety suite. The BYD Seal, though, it goes full sci-fi. It hands you a massive 15.6-inch rotating touchscreen, which is basically a TV on your dash, plus a panoramic power roof and diamond-stitched leather. It's a very different vibe. Of course, upfront price is only half the story. Let's move on to fuel versus charging costs and the real-world economics of daily driving. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer efficiency of both machines. This is where your daily running costs actually take shape. The Elantra averages a very impressive 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers, but real-world testing shows the BYD Seal consumes between 15.5 and 21.5 kilowatt hours. So if you're charging at home overnight, the Seal is absolutely going to offer significant daily operational savings.
However, EV ownership brings a practical reality check, and it's perfectly represented by the number 35. That's the 35 minutes it takes to fast charge the BYD Seal from 10 to 80% at a 150 kilowatt station. While the Seal is definitely saving you money, it requires a real shift in your time management on longer trips, especially compared to the Elantra's classic 5-minute splash and dash.
Next up, we're looking at performance and driving experience. This is really a battle of comfort versus raw power. This is where these sedans showcased fundamentally different driving philosophies. Look at this massive gap. The BYD Seal performance is basically a drag strip missile. With dual motors pumping out 523 horsepower, it does the 0 to 100 sprint in a blistering 3.8 seconds. The Elantra, on the other hand, is totally focused on daily economy, doing that same sprint in about 9.5 seconds. In a straight line, they honestly aren't even playing the same sport. But straight line speed isn't everything, right? Handling is dictated largely by weight. The Elantra is relatively light at just over 1,300 kilograms, which gives it a composed, highly familiar, and really comfortable daily ride. The BYD Seal carries a massive battery pack, pushing its weight to nearly 2.2 tons. And reviewers note that despite having adaptive suspension, this heavy frame can feel a bit floaty in comfort mode and choppy over bumps in sport mode. It's a nuanced trade-off. Let's shift gears to interior tech and practicality.
What is it actually like living inside the cabin?
So the crucial point is how you actually interact with these cars. The Elantra offers a distraction-free, traditional environment. You get real physical buttons for your climate control and a sharp 10.25-inch digital display. Very intuitive. The BYD relies almost entirely on its massive touchscreen. Now, it looks incredible, but testers have noted that swiping through submenus just to turn on the AC can occasionally cause a bit of lag. It definitely requires a learning curve. When it comes to cargo and passenger space, the packaging is also very different. The Elantra has a 408-liter main boot and a traditional seating position. The BYD gives you slightly more total storage with a 400-liter boot plus a 53-liter front trunk, or frunk. However, Because of that thick battery pack mounted under the floor, rear passengers in the BYD might find their tow room quite limited compared to the Hyundai. Moving on to safety and long-term ownership, let's talk warranties, maintenance, and peace of mind. The good news is, safety data is incredibly strong for both vehicles. The Elantra holds an IIHS top safety pick status, scoring good in front overlaps, though it notes an acceptable rating for some rear restraints. The BYD Seal boasts a robust 5-star ANCAP rating, achieving 89% for adult occupant protection and 87% for child protection based on rigorous Euro NCAP testing. Bottom line, you are well protected in either choice. It's also vital we address some common ownership misconceptions here. EVs are not automatically cheaper to run in every single category. For example, comprehensive insurance on the BYD can run over $3,000 AUD annually. Scheduled servicing costs have also risen to over $2,100 AUD over 5 years. Also, while the BYD claims a 570-kilometer range, heavy air conditioning use in places like the UAE drops that to about 400 to 450 kilometers in the real world. Meanwhile, petrol cars like the Elantra continue to hold their value simply because of their predictable long-distance ease. When we compare manufacturer peace of mind, both offer excellent safety nets. Hyundai is absolutely legendary for its U.S. market 10-year or 100,000-mile drivetrain warranty, coupled with a 5-year basic warranty. BYD counters with a very competitive 6-year, 150,000-kilometer vehicle warranty and an 8-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty, specifically covering that large battery pack. Finally, we arrive at making your final decision. Which car actually fits your lifestyle? So what are you actually trading off? Well, with the Elantra, you're buying lower overall mechanical complexity, the sheer ease of a 5-minute refuel, and a completely familiar ownership experience. But with the BYD, you gain cutting-edge EV tech, the potential for vastly lower energy costs, and staggering 500-plus horsepower performance. Let's move to real-life scenarios and see how this builds out. If you commute in the city, love tech, and can charge at home, the BYD Seal is a phenomenal fit. If you live in an apartment without a charger, or you frequently drive long highway distances, the Elantra is undoubtedly more practical. And if you're strictly budget-conscious or a first-time buyer, the base price of the Elantra makes it the clear frontrunner. There is no absolute universal winner here. The right choice completely depends on your answers to 3 questions. Where do you live? How do you drive? And critically, do you have reliable access to charging infrastructure? Your personal ecosystem dictates the winner. Ultimately, the transition from petrol to electric isn't just about 0 to 100 times or screen sizes. It's about how the machine seamlessly fits into the rhythm of your everyday life. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. So, when 2026 rolls around, will you be plugging in your driveway or pulling up to the pump?